Hello, y'all. Um, Today is Monday, June 21st, 2021 at 5:38 a.m. Um, so I guess yesterday was the first day of summer, and it's summer solstice. So, a lot of blood sacrifice. I don't even know if or when. I don't even watch TV no more, but the doggone BET Awards around that time, they usually will have Illuminati blood sacrifices around this time, summer solstice sacrifice. Um, so like in Hollywood and even not in Hollywood. But I figured that they gang stalked me so bad yesterday that I figured that it's Father's Day, so if they gang stalking me so heavy, it must be a satanic ritual high day. First day of summer and everything. You know. So I got very little sleep last night, and I still feel too sick to go to work. And there'll be another loss, another day of no paycheck. I'm just feeling so tired and exhausted. Um, I don't know. It's like I guess this job ain't a good fit for me, but I'm trying to fight to stick with it. But because of my past traumas growing up, and then the fact, I mean, it just remind me of it reminds me of just making me feel like I'm punished again, and that's psychologically and mentally agonizing and making me feel punished. Plus, it's very low wage job. But I wish I had my own place and a quiet place to live, and I don't even know if it would have been best for me to have something computer based, but I wish that I can have like a solopreneur career, or you know I always dreamed to travel the world, but these days I can't do something so freely like that. You know, the idea of being a food and travel blogger or something like that. I didn't even, I don't know how people are able to do it, you know. So, a lot of people it's like they hide their secrets to success. Um, so, I don't know, it's like, I am having mixed feelings, about this job that I have. I mean, um, but one of the bosses, with his personality, you know, helped me to not feel so punished. The idea, well, you get free lunch or whatever, and he don't treat it like it's a punishment. But how certain employers are. He seems like he's different from you know having that punishment demeanor. But anybody else will make it like everything got to be a punishment so they can feel more powerful. you know. So, I mean, it sucks that I got sick and then I'm still suffering the sleep deprivation. Last night I was cold all night, cold and wet all night, and my sleeping bag is still not dry. It's still not all the way dry. And then it's supposed to rain all day today. It's supposed to rain all day today and all day tomorrow. Look at the sky. Well, I don't know if y'all can, it doesn't look like you can see it on camera. Oh yeah, here. The sky is like pink and purple over there. And it's very cloudy now. But y'all can hear me. I sound hoarse, and I've been in the middle of the night, been having to blow my nose all night, and my nose has been sore from blowing it, so having to blow it so much. And I've been attacked by mosquitoes and insects and these things called NO-SEE-UMS, no-see-ums or whatever. And they seem like they hurt or itch, painful itch worse than mosquito bites. So I'm getting attacked since it's been moist outside and being forced to sleep on a wet sleeping bag. And then couldn't get really any sleep. I got very little sleep. I just wish I could have some place to get to lay down and sleep. I mean, it's harder when you're outside and stuff. And they vibrated me for a brief moment last night. But it was very hard trying to lay down or try to sleep on a drenched, wet sleeping bag. And then as I said, my clothes are still wet. And I was cold all night. See, look, I got a mosquito bite on my neck right here. So, it's like, I know I'm confused about a lot of things and having mixed feelings about a lot. If the Bible says you're not supposed to put your trust in man, why do so many humans think that they can judge, punish, and control each other? Grown adults trying to control grown adults, and if you're struggling and suffering, they think, oh, you're an adult, that nobody's supposed to help you. But they have no problem with judging and kicking you down and condemning and controlling you and trying to dictate your life. But nobody want to have any, compassion and understanding for the reason why behind. Nobody wants to listen about the reason behind why a person is suffering through what they're going through. And if a person is considered disabled or special needs, it's a cold world out there. That even if you're disabled and you can't meet up with what's normal, then you get continuous abuse as an adult. If you've been overly sheltered and always wrongfully punished just for nothing as a child, if you're not allowed to say hello to people. And when I was a child and going to school, if I saw a classmate in the grocery store and said hello, the foster family members would punish me just for saying hello to a classmate. And then they would see the foster mom or a foster sister or whatever berate and condemn me. And then the next day we go to school and the kid, act like they avoid me like the plague. Or, and then they start bullying me at school or something like that. I've had that happen. So, the foster family kept us overly sheltered. And it's like, you get told that you're the problem and you should just grow up and that there's no excuse for you to be the way you are. When I felt for years that I didn't realize in 2007, I knew that I was robbed of my childhood, but I did not know I was robbed of my childhood, and that was part of the narcissistic abuse and me being in a cult, Like, the foster mom I said it before, that not the sexual stuff, but some of the abuses that I heard that those girls said that R. Kelly did to them, and what Chris Stokes did to those boys, and the way he treated them. You know, it kind of reminds me of what I went through. As I said before, the foster mom was her own cult leader, and she ran her own house like a cult. You know, and say for example, a narcissistic control freak fake friend. I read online, and plus somebody told me that basically dealing with a narcissistic control freak fake friend or a narcissistic spouse or something like that, that's basically like a one-on-one cult, you know, that, or some people try to say that the chief narc in your life is your handler. I reject anybody as my freaking handler, you know. So I don't even want to call myself dead, but I feel like I'm on the verge of dying. I know I'm not on the verge of dying, but I just feel kind of too dead or too sick to even, and too weak to go to work with my sleep deprivation and my cold and stuff. And you know, there's no apartment house or hotel room or anything for me to continue to rest until later on, you know. And so it's not fair. And I don't know if it'll get warm later on. Maybe not, and it's supposed to rain. So I don't know. So with this targeting, like in 2019, one job I was forced to quit because I ended up in the emergency room 4 times within 6 weeks. You know, and this is not, I mean, it's been a little while since I had days of sleep deprivation. Now they're starting to, you know, back up with the hardcore sleep depriving me and stuff like that. Even if I weren't sick, you know, they still, hold up. I mean, they still cause me sleep deprivation. It seemed like I could never get to rest. Even when I had me a place, I could never get to rest because the harassment and abuse was so bad. And I thought it was because of the low income thing and Section 8 and stuff. But I didn't realize that if you're a targeted individual, you can live in a rich neighborhood and then the noise campaign. But I heard that noise abuse, noise harassment, noise campaign, it drives down property values, you know. But of course, they'll blame the target and not the harassers. I mean, if neighbors, I guess they are gang stalkers with no soul, that they wait if I'm feeling really sick, and the gang stalking next door crackhead neighbor wait till 2:00 in the morning the day before a job interview or a test for a certain job. Like if I try to go to take a test to be try to see about being a tax preparer, you know, if I try to take a test to be a tax preparer, and then 2:00 that morning, the crackhead neighbor, gang stalking neighbors would you know, have a noise campaign, and then, you know, I go and knock on their door and ask them, can they please turn their music down or their TV, and then they make death threats at me or threats to hurt me, and they make it like as if I'm being illogical and unreasonable You know, that the fact that they deliberately and on purpose do that, and then make it like I don't have a right to knock on their door. Well, you don't have a right to have your noise bleed into my place, and you don't have a right to have your cigarettes smell or your weed smell to bleed into my place too, where I gotta live. You know, so that it was nonstop noise campaign and noise harassment with neighbors, and you know, and then they would deliberately and on purpose park, you know, by my place where I live at, or had to deal with neighbors. That's what made me feel like I hate neighbors. And you know, the landlord just, they say that in a lease that you have a right to a peaceful, quiet enjoyment or whatever place you stay, even if it's low income. That's in your lease, that you have a right to peaceful, quiet enjoyment. And so, you being a targeted individual, the landlords don't recognize that, or they don't care, and they just encourage and allow the noise. And you know, it was such torture that your life would be threatened for you know, when you're sleep deprived and excruciating pain, and then you have a job interview the next day, you know, and that made me feel like I sick and tired of and hate living in apartments and having neighbors. That made me feel like all neighbors are bad neighbors, that you always got the neighbors from hell, you know. And then living in hotels, it's the same thing. But at the same time, you know, some nights you might get a quiet night because there's different people in and out, you know. But you're not confined to a whole lease and dealing with neighbors threatening to bust you up, neighbors threatening to bust you upside the head and stuff like that. And then, you know, then dealing with brutal abuse, psychological and mental and verbal abuse. Even the lady at the Section 8 office telling me that basically I'm going to wind up getting hurt, or I deserve to get hurt. And that they can make whatever noise that they want and stuff. Because you're participating in a perp, and you're a narcissistic abuser who's highly narcissistic. And yes, I'm calling you out. Debbie Thompson from the Section 8 office in Gretna, Louisiana. Yeah, this happened in 2018 yeah. So going through all that and stuff in different places in Los Angeles, I had to deal with neighbors taking off the doorknob by my place and dumping their garbage into my garbage can, and they entering in and out of my gate on purpose, smoking right by my apartment, by the door by my house, and you know, making loud music and stuff. So, speaking of noise, they got this construction over here. So I'll see ignorant. So I was trying to say that speaking of noise, they got this construction going on with somebody brighten their lights right there. So it flies. So they got all this noise going on. So I'll see y'all later.